The Spurs got a huge bounce back win in Game 6 with dominant performances on both ends of the floor. Let's dive into some of the chess moves in this one. Their defense was the story, but I actually want to start with a few of their offensive concepts which I thought were really effective. This is the opening set of the game, and I love the play call. It starts with this Iverson cut for Vassell. Castle loops up to receive the ball, and now they're right into an empty corner pick and roll with Wemby while they have this flare for Fox. Notice here, Shea goes over the screen, Hartenstein's in a deep drop to protect against Victor's roll, Chet helps against that dribble penetration, and that leaves Champagnie open for a great look from three. They run it again the very next possession, and this time Dort ends up on Castle. He jumps under the screen, which stops Castle, but Wemby was really aggressive looking for his shot in this game. He pops to beat Hartenstein's drop, and the jumper was falling. A few minutes later, they're back at it again with that play. Shea's got Castle here, and look at where Steph catches the ball compared to the play where Dort was on him and pushed him way out. Pushing him out like that makes it easier for Dort to go under here. So back to Shea on him with that catch lower. Shea goes over the screen, and Chet just got burned by Champagnie, so he doesn't commit to helping. Castle seals SGA off, and iHeart is terrified of Wemby on the lob, so it's a layup. So I like a lot of things about this play. First, you have the flare to take Dort away from the action, and more importantly, it spaces a great shooter one pass away, and since Chet's guarding him, OKC's best rim protector isn't near the rim. Compare that to a play like this, where it's a DHO with an empty corner, and this is tough to guard with Wemby rolling, but Chet is the low man here and rotates to break it up. So spacing Chet up top like this is great for the Spurs. OKC guards it 2-on-2, and San Antonio will take that all day. The Spurs go back to it later in the game, and Castle rejects the screen this time. Hartenstein wants to help. Victor reads it and just pops for a wide open look, just can't get it to go. One more time with this set. There's the flare, and watch how explosive Victor is on his roll, getting behind Hartenstein with really just one step. And remember, Chet guards Champagnie, so Shea is the low man. He doesn't protect the rim like Chet. Hartenstein makes a great effort, but they call the foul, even though he doesn't like the call, and it was close. He might have a point there. Okay, a few more notes on offense. The Spurs guards do tend to get a lot of unders. We talked about Dort executing it here, and it is a bit of a chess match for the Spurs to get defenders to go over instead. You've probably seen them run this play a lot with two screeners for the ball handler, and notice the angle of these screens. It's not a typical pick, it's a bit flatter, which makes it harder for the defender to go under. So that angle forces the over, which then forces a tag by the other screener's defender, and that screener happens to be Devin Vassell, who can pop for three and drill it. It is basically the same thing here, where Dort's looking for a call as he goes over. Shea leaves Vassell to tag the roll. It's a nice relocation by Devin, and he's been locked in. Dylan Harper was also locked in last night, and again, notice the screening here. Victor comes up, and I think you can tell from Wallace's footwork that he wants to go under this screen, but Wemby's actively not letting him. That little exchange is enough for Harper to get Kaysen out of position, stop on a dime, and this dude is filthy. Similar play here, where this time Cornet's screening. Again, Kaysen wants to go under, but he's like, damn it, I can't, I have to go over. Harper's already started his drive, another nasty change of direction, and it's somehow still good defense from Kaysen, but Harper was feeling it. So the bigger story in this one was probably Wemby playing like a 7'4" guard on the perimeter, but going into game 7, I'll also have my eyes on the chess match with these ball screens and how the Thunder try to counter the set we covered in the beginning. But moving on to the defense now, let's talk about how San Antonio took away a key action from the Thunder. In game 5, OKC ran this play a bunch, where McCain's running a pick and roll, but then throwing it to the big man for Shea to chase after it for a handoff. He cans a pull-up three here. That was a really effective action for them all last game, and now back to game 6, the Thunder used this set as an after free throw play. Notice Victor is not one of the rebounders because they want him setting up in help position early. OKC brings it up, and we see the setup with the initial pick and roll on this side, Jay Will as the outlet over here, and Shea ready to get into that handoff. But this whole possession, Dylan Harper is just hounding Caruso up the floor, so they never even get into the set because of Harper. But of course, Shea bails out the possession with some step back madness. Now they run it again as an ATO here, but I do want to show you one more play from game 5 where Victor starts in the weak side corner, but now as the ball changes sides, you can see he's actually in the strong side corner. He helps off of it on the roll. Jay Will, beautiful pass to Victor's man, so that play actually took advantage of Wemby always wanting to help at the rim. Back to game 6, and this is really tricky from the Spurs. They're nearly off the screen right now, but watch Barnes and Victor here. Barnes tells Wemby to switch on to Chet, and now Harrison Barnes takes the corner, which is unusual for them because, as we know, the Spurs want Victor as the low man guarding the weak side corner. But if Barnes recognizes the play, then he knows the ball's coming to McCain on this side, so getting Wemby on the weak side means he should actually guard Chet. Now when McCain runs the play, Victor is the low man. Barnes hugs the strong side corner. Castle denies the roll pass much better this time, and now just watch the Victor Wembanyama show. Alright, one more time with this action. This time Cornette is in the game, and notice he's guarding Hartenstein, which is what OKC wants, and the play pretty much works here. It gets 2 on the ball, Shea hits the pocket pass, but Hartenstein's kickout is a little off, so Champagnie recovers. Kaysen probably should shoot this, but passes it up, and it ends in a turnover. So that action is certainly a fun one to keep track of, just pure basketball chess going on. But let's move away from specific actions and just talk about Wemby's impact on this game and the Spurs defense as a whole. This is not even 2 minutes in, and we're reminded why Mark Daigneault didn't want to play Hartenstein much in game 1, because when you can't space 5 out, Victor lives near the rim guarding iHart, and even though McCain makes a nice move, that is just food for Wemby. So instead of spacing him in the dunker, OKC runs a pick and roll with him here. Castle stunts off of Chet, so Shea makes the pass, but Steph just runs him off the line. And remember, if iHart has to space off the ball, he's going to the dunker, so Chet runs right into Wemby, who can guard everyone all at once, and it's another block. Okay, this time SGA is looking for a matchup with Fox, but Victor leaves Hartenstein to show help, so Shea just swings it the other way, but there's no advantage here with Victor easily recovering to his man, and the Thunder end up with a tough shot there. Now they go back to pick and roll. Shea hits the pocket pass, and iHart can get hot with these, but this one's deep, and the Spurs probably live with that. This one is a nice idea by OKC, with Hartenstein starting on Bryant's left and then flipping the angle the other way. That gets a great connection on Bryant, but Wemby can just slide over against Shea, allow Carter to recover. Now Shea draws both guys to him, and it's not a bad look for Hartenstein, but there might have been better options there. But you can see the dilemma Wemby presents. Spacing Hartenstein in the dunker just doesn't seem like the move, but the other option is bringing Victor into the pick and roll, and that definitely isn't ideal either. San Antonio's perimeter defenders also played great. This is a stagger setup for McCain, and it might even be open, but of course Dylan Harper's just a bulldog on the ball, so Caruso's just trying to survive, ends up running into Victor, and you know how that goes. This time Shea's isolating, and Victor is in the gap here, so he hits Jay Will. Now Jay Will wants to give it back, but Vassell just denies it. Wemby blows up the handoff, and now on the inbounds, Carter Bryant denies Shea. He doesn't touch it till there's 5 on the clock, and it's a nice switch by Castle. SGA just hasn't gotten many good looks. The Spurs have defender after defender that seem to physically match up well, and they've been able to get really good contests on his shots while keeping him out of the paint. OKC did try a couple of possessions where they flatten out the spacing to give Shea more room to operate, but Vassell just sticks with him stride for stride here, doesn't go for this little head fake, and Shea just hasn't been able to shake these guys. Now the rest of the defense recovers, and that was a great possession. So this series has been one haymaker after another. It does feel a little bit like it's OKC's turn to punch back now, but man, this could go either way. I can't wait for game 7. Let me know who you got in the comments. Thanks for watching.